you shouldn't be surprised about this correction. I mean, I did warn you about it last week, but the one thing that will surprise you about this correction is the data behind this correction. Because let me tell you, when I was digging into the data behind this correction, it seems like there's something that's very, very, very similar to a couple of other corrections, which may actually shock you. And I want to go through the data behind this correction, because the correction doesn't surprise us. You know, I made a video last week and I said to you guys, look, there's this indicator, which is this indicator over here, which is the altcoin open interest compared to the Bitcoin open interest. And every time that the altcoin open interest goes above the Bitcoin open interest, we know we get a correction. So no surprise. But there are a lot of other surprises in the data, and that's what I want to go through today. So big show today in a red market. I mean, very, very red market. Bitcoin right now at 112.9. Yeah, let's talk about this. Let's talk about whether this is the correction or whether this is just another leverage unwinding. Lots to do today. Let's get going, guys. GM. Do you still say GM on a day like this? I don't know. I mean, when the Bibles look like this, do you still say GM? Yeah. It's not such a GM. It's just M. Morning. It's like you walk in the office, you say morning. You don't say good morning, everyone. Yeah, we are going to talk about this because we've got to decide whether it's a flush out, just a quick flush out, and then a continuation up, or a correction. It's this correction reminds me very, very, very much of the correction just after the Trump meme coin launch. Remember when that Trump meme coin launched and we had that weekend where the Trump meme coin sucked out all the liquidity from all the other altcoins? I don't know why, but I just get that déjà vu again. And we got to look at the data and the similarities between this correction and that correction. When we do, I think it'll absolutely blow your mind. I'm going to ask you, as I do normally, I'm not asking you for much. I've spent 3 hours preparing a show for you guys. We have a new colleague of ours who joined us here today. I mean, you were shocked when you saw how much work went into making a show, right?
Yeah, definitely.
But he's been sitting with me for 3 hours while we've been piecing the show together. All I'm asking is just that you hit the like button and just help us get distribution. And let me get on with a big alpha. Nice button, bro. So it's the small things that count. You know what I mean? Yeah, it's the small things that count. Well, not always the small things, but you know what I'm saying. All right, let's get going. Let's get going with the alpha of today's correction, which shouldn't surprise you. I mean, that is the correction today. We spoke about this correction happening last week. I don't know if you remember, but before the FOMC on that Monday, I came to you guys and I said to you guys, I'm worried about crypto. And the reason why I was worried about crypto was there's this indicator. The indicator is the altcoin open interest over or divided by the Bitcoin open interest. And when the altcoin open interest gets bigger than the Bitcoin open interest in terms of leverage taken on the market, that indicator has 100% success rate. We back tested this indicator much further back than this chart goes, because this chart only goes 2 years back. Every single time that it happens, there's 100% hit rate that you get a correction. And actually, they're not small corrections. They're actually quite big corrections. I mean, you can see that the last couple of times that happened, Bitcoin went down 31% and 34% respectively. So this indicator flashed. And last week I came to you guys and I wasn't panicked, but I was like, guys, I'm raising a flag here. I'm worried for crypto. Because not only is this indicator correct, but usually when you look at how this indicator plays out, if you look at the part where the altcoin open interest overtakes the Bitcoin open interest. Okay, now that happened on February 29th, 2024. Now let's look at when the correction actually came. So February 29th, 2024, we'll go back to 2024 and we'll go back to February 29th, 2024. It was somewhere over here. So that was over here. Now let's look at when Bitcoin topped. So Bitcoin then topped about March 12th. So usually within a week or 2 weeks, we actually get this indicator. So I'm waiting for an Uber order. So I'm just like, I'm going to keep an eye on my Uber order. Within 2 weeks, we actually get the correction actually playing out. Now this indicator flashed for the last time that this indicator flashed was September. Let's go back. It was, oh man, so you have to go. Hold on. Let's actually make it a very small time frame so we can actually see on the 1 month. When did this indicate? Oh, come on, you can't give me data issues now. Come on. Hold on, this chart's not refreshing, but let's try and refresh. But it crossed like pretty recently. So there we go. So we can see that it actually crossed for the first time September 13th. That would mean that 1 week ago, this indicator actually crossed for the thing. And so usually the top comes within 2 weeks, and then we actually get a correction. Now, I must say, even after the FOMC, and we got the rate cuts during the FOMC, and everybody was euphoric, and we even made a very bullish video. And, and I said, like, in general, this may actually be your last chance before a very bullish Q4. But even in this video, I warned you guys. I said, you guys, look, I still think there's a correction here. I can't help but thinking about that. Let me unmute this so that you guys can actually hear. We had in September. That's not a correction. There's a correction. I've got to be honest. Like, I can't help but thinking. We can't call that a correction. I mean, hopefully we don't, but more realistically, we probably will have a correction at some time, and then we'll go to Valhalla. So either way, next email. Like, I see my Ubers also here, so I can actually tell my chief of staff to follow my order. If you just give me like 1 second here, let me get my Uber to do me a favor, share this delivery with Amy, AIMEE. So we were expecting this correction, and it comes as no surprise. And then 1 week later, 1 week after this indicator hits, this is pretty much where we are. Now, in terms of where we are here, you can see that we had quite a brutal 24 hours. $1.7 billion of liquidations actually happening. Let's go back to see how bad. In fact, we'll look at it a bit later. I want to show you guys how bad this is in terms of all-time liquidations. But this was quite a big all-time liquidation. Let's go on to a higher time frame. Maybe that'll give us, yeah. So, thank you, sir. Thank you. So, so it was a very brutal liquidation. In fact, Alex Kruger, if you look at what Alex Kruger said, he said this is the largest daily liquidation since summer 2023 for ETH and SOL, and since June for Bitcoin. So not a very small liquidation. And it comes at a time where I said to you last week that Bitcoin's tapping on this chart over here, right? You can see this chart over here, and Bitcoin's tapping on this long-term trend line that's been there since 2018, right? Since 2018, we've had this long-term trend line, and either we're going to break through it now, or we're going to get rejected, like all the other times. Let's look at the data behind this correction, though, because the data behind this correction is actually pretty freaky, right? Like, it's like when I was digging through this, I knew there was a correction and I knew everything else was happening. But then I saw the data behind this correction, and I saw how similar this correction was to many other corrections. And I really want to spend some time on this data, because I think that that's where the secrets lie. Where this is where the magic lies in this correction, and identifying whether or not this is a very big correction or just a little flash out. And if it is a very big correction, how long this correction is actually going to start, how long this correction is actually going to last. So it starts off like this, right? We looked at the data over here and we said, look, the last couple of times, or specifically on this chart, the last 2 times that the altcoin open interest went above the Bitcoin open interest, what we realized was that, for one, it didn't stay there for very long before the correction, about a 2-week period. And both times it led to quite a big correction. It led to a 34 correction over here and a 31% correction over here. So it's not like these are small corrections. Both of these corrections were pretty big, and they were both bull market corrections. And if you look at these are very recent corrections. So it's not like you can say, well, this is long ago before there was Bitcoin liquidity and everything else. These are very serious corrections. In the altcoins, the total 3 went down 40% and 42%. So in both times that this happened, 100% of the times this indicator is correct. And in both the 2 recent times, it's caused pretty significant corrections. But that's not the only thing that is worrying me. The other thing that is worrying me here is, if you remember, the corrections that actually happened, specifically this one that happened over here, what you'll realize is that it was very similar in terms of the setup. And when I say very similar in terms of the setup, remember when the Trump meme coin launched? Remember we had that crazy weekend where Trump meme coin launched. It launched over a weekend. When the Trump meme coin launched over that weekend, it sucked all the liquidity out the market. Do you remember that? Now, what actually happened? So let's look at what actually happened to the market structure. The first part about the market structure is you say, what does this chart actually mean? This chart means that there's so much exuberance that people are willing to take leverage on altcoins very quickly, because they think that they can't lose. And they're getting insane FOMO, and they want to catch the next big 100x or whatever it is. And that's exactly what happened this weekend, right? We had the launch of Aster, which is the CZ-backed perpetuals exchange. And we're going to spend a whole lot of time speaking about the CZ-backed perpetuals exchange. But it came onto the market and it sucked all the liquidity out the market. And that's not the only thing that it did. It also made people hungry for the next 100x. Remember Trump, and then there was Melania. So there was Trump that sucked liquidity out the market, and then people were waiting for the Melania launch. So very, very, very similar in terms of setup to that weekend. Also, what usually happens in situations like this is when people take leverage on, when people take so much leverage and they move and people are highly levered, and then they move from all to one token, right? So imagine that like we had leverage across because we were in a period of high leverage. And then what happened was the leverage got so high, and then this coin actually launches. Because remember, the leverage got high before the coin actually launched. Now people are very, very, very highly levered on things like pump fund, hyperliquid, because we were in this period where the altcoins open interest was higher than the Bitcoin open interest, high leverage periods. And then you launch this competitor. Now, what does this competitor do? It sucked out the money from the pumps, from the hype, from the Athenas, from everything else. And it put that money all into Aster because this all happened on a weekend. What does that do? It starts liquidating the people in other trades. So if you look at the pump fund chart, right? Look, let's take, for example, the pump fund chart. Pump was at like 0.008 towards 0.009 actually. I didn't realize it actually hit 0.009. And then what happened? Well, it started going down to 6. Now this all happened because the liquidity went to Aster because everybody wanted to make money on Aster. What does that do? It starts getting people liquidated on Aster. Same thing if you look at Hyperliquid, right? Hyperliquid was like the blue-eyed token of this cycle or of this period. What happens over here? Hype starts going down as money starts going into Aster. These guys start getting liquidated, and that starts causing a liquidation cascade. So that's pretty much what landed up happening this week, and it's very, very, very similar to what happened back then. Trump token launches, 32% down. Actually, this one took about 79 days to bottom. We'll talk about how long this can actually happen. But I wanted to show you, it's exactly the same pattern. Here we had Aster launch, sucks up the liquidity, and then bang, Bitcoin starts to top, and we basically start going down. And well, I mean, here's where we are right now. The other thing that we need to look at is that another reason why this correction came and liquidated so many people so quickly is because if you look at the cycle's main tokens. Now, if I would say to you, like, in this cycle, what are the main tokens? So the first batch of tokens is called Hyena, right? Which is Hyperliquid and Athena. They call them Hyena. And then the last one is Pump, right? If you look at the 3 cycle winners in the last part of this cycle, it's Hyena and Pump. It's Hyena Pump. We'll call it Hyena Pumps. Hyena's Pump. That's what I call it. I like it. So Hyena Pump was the 3 massive tokens in the cycle. They were like the 3 gladiators in the cycle. Now, what happened was that these 3 gladiators all came under attack at the same period of time. Hyperliquid was attacked by 2 things. The first thing was, I think it was attacked by one thing, and that was it was attacked by the new perpetuals DEX, which was CZ's backed perpetuals DEX, which is Aster. So Hyperliquid now completely under attack, right? And when I say under attack, people started to compare Aster with Hyperliquid. Aster flips Bitcoin in 24-hour perpetual volume on Hyperliquid, right? So the one part of the 3, the trio of gladiators for the cycle gets attacked. First one, Hyperliquid, attacked. Second one, Athena. Athena's pretty much made all its announcements and they're completely out of bullets. They're like a soldier running around on the battlefield, no more bullets. Finished. We've made an announcement of buybacks. We made an announcement of our debt company. We've made the announcement of our fee switch, everything, fee switch, buybacks. We've made all the announcements. We're out of ammo. So now you've got another one of the 3 soldiers, except this soldier is running out without bullets. Pump Fund also starts getting attacked, right? When I say attacked, basically you've got Pump Fund and then you've got crazy ragging and streaming happening on Pump Fund, and people are starting to turn into Pump Fund for hate. Someone says, just got ragged by a 101-year-old grandma. MF's the oldest person to stream on Pump Fund. So what you can see is that like we got to a level of debauchery, and then basically the 3 biggest tokens come under attack. So kind of like Imagine what this looks like. The three biggest tokens come under attack. At the same time, you've got a liquidity drain on because of Aster. At the same time, you've got very, 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 very high leverage. Perfect recipe for disaster. Bang, $1.7 billion of liquidations. Here we are. Okay, that is not where the story ends though. Because if that was where the story ends, I wouldn't be so freaked out by the coincidences, right? That is not where the story ends. I'll show you where the story ends, but I just want to see if I've got a special chart for you guys. I might have a very special chart for you guys. Not sure. Let me see if I can get you this chart. Okay, so very, very, very special chart here. So this was all like, you know, like when sometimes when you hear about like coincidences, you get like a shiver, you get like a it's goosebumps they call it, or yeah, they call it goosebumps. That's what they call it, right? So tell me in your language, how do they call goosebumps? How do you call it in Afrikaans? Hoendervleis.
Yeah.
That means chicken meat. What?
Chicken skin.
Chicken skin.
Yeah.
So tell me, how do you call goosebumps in your language and in your culture? Tell me in the chat here. But now, can I ask you something? If you're Afrikaans, right, and you whisper in a girl's ear and like her hair stands up, is it also hoendervleis? Is it also chicken skin?
It's also chicken skin.
Even if it's like when you're whispering in her ear and like.
We only have one word.
Hoendervleis. Okay. Tell me what in your 𝗙𝗘𝗃𝗀𝗃. I wonder what language 𝗙𝗃𝗃𝗃 is. Goosebumps, chicken skin, 𝗙𝗃𝗃𝗃, cold shivers. No, it's not cold shivers, bro. 𝗙𝗃𝗃𝗃. Oh, you guys keep letting me know in the chat. Anyway, this is the part that gave me 𝗙𝗃𝗃𝗃 in Dutch. Yeah, gave me kip. So this is the part that gave me in a 𝗙𝗃𝗃𝗃. Okay. Someone says 𝗙𝗆𝗄 de galinha. That must be the Portuguese guys. 𝗙𝗆𝗄 de galinha. Yes, okay. What language is 𝗙𝗥𝗢𝗃𝗃? 𝗕𝗰𝗄𝗆. That must be French. 𝗕𝗰𝗄𝗆. Okay, anyway, so this is where I got 𝗕𝗰𝗄𝗆, or I got 𝗙𝗃𝗃𝗃, right? I'll show you what happened. When I looked at, remember that Friday, it was that triple witching. Do you remember that what I told you was a triple witching? Triple witching is the biggest options expiry that there ever is. Triple witching is when the options expiration of stock options, stock index futures, and stock index options all fall on the same day. It only happens quarterly. So it happens 4 times a year. Now, this is because when you want to talk about the 𝗙𝗃𝗃𝗃 or the 𝗙𝗆𝗃 de galinha or the whatever you want to call it, goosebumps or the hoendervleis or whatever you want to call it about. So there is the triple witching, which happened last week, coincidentally. And so I went back and I said, I want to see, when did this indicator over here, when did the altcoin open interest top? And I said, like, wouldn't it be completely like crazy if it topped at the same time as the triple witching last time? And that's when I got 𝗙𝗃𝗃𝗃. Because I looked at the chart. Well, I didn't actually look at the chart. The researchers looked at the chart, and then they sent me the chart. And then I got serious 𝗙𝗃𝗃𝗃, right? You see this white line over here? This is when the triple witching happened. So coincidentally, the triple witching happens when the altcoin OI open interest, 1 week, you see 1 week, here it's like 1 week before, happens. See, I know you guys are getting 𝗙𝗃𝗃𝗃 now. I can feel it. I'm getting 𝗙𝗃𝗃𝗃 again here. Okay? The triple witching happened about a week after the altcoin open interest. Here it was 2 weeks, 12 days. Crossed the Bitcoin open interest. And the same thing happened over here. So if you look at when the Trump coin was launched, and you look at the triple witching, and you look at when the altcoin open interest crossed the Bitcoin open interest December 1st. December 19th or 20th was the triple witching. Okay, do you understand? Is that not 𝗙𝗃𝗃𝗃 type material? Triple witching, altcoin open interest over Bitcoin open interest, and then you get this one coin to come in and suck out all the liquidity, and then we got these massive corrections. So I don't know, make out of it what you feel. Make out of it what you feel out of it. I can't tell you. I can just show you all the crazy coincidences. Triple witching, same time as the Bitcoin open interest overtakes the altcoin open interest, same time as like this one coin comes in, sucks the liquidity out of the markets over a weekend. It's probably coincidence. There's no way that it's just complete complete coincidence. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Tell me, let me know if you've got 𝗙𝗏𝗀𝗀 here. Let me 𝗙𝗏𝗀𝗀. The Dutch people won. The Dutch people won this. The Dutch people won this. Okay, so now we have a correction. How long is this correction gonna last? If it's a correction, it could be a leverage flash out. Not impossible. Not impossible. I would say that probably a 50-50 chance whether it's a leverage flash out or correction. Either way, let's be ready for both. Okay, let's be ready for both. If it is a correction, how long does this correction actually last? Now here, I want to show you, I want to say the following to you. I don't really care how long because it's not really a time thing. And it's also, for me, not a price thing. Because remember I said to you on the thumbnail of the show, I said, this is how Bitcoin gets to $90,000. This is the path that takes us to $90,000. So I want to talk to you about the path to $90,000. It's not a time thing and it's not a price thing, okay? It's a fear and greed thing. Right? Because if it is a correction, what I want to see is I want to see the fear and greed coming back to these levels over here. Which, by the way, coincidentally, if you go back to the other, if you want more 𝗙𝗏𝗀𝗀, if you want to go, yeah, someone says clickbait. I'm literally about to show you how Bitcoin goes to $90,000. The guy says clickbait. Literally, I'm about to show you how. So, Friday, 1st March 2024. Remember that date? December 2024. So, we're looking for March and December 2024. Look what happened to the fear and greed, March and December 2024. Okay, so March started the correction, 2024, all the way down to under 20. Okay, March 2024. Let's just make, yes, March 2024. December 2024. Here's December 24. Look where we landed up on fear and greed, under 20. So this is all coincidence. You have to end it. It's coincidence. Right? You see what I'm saying to you? It's not if a correction is not about the price. A correction is about a change in sentiment. Both times that the altcoin interest overtook the Bitcoin open interest, the fear and greed was very, very, very high. Okay? And it dipped all the way to below 20 to extreme fear before the market reset and we actually started going up again. There is one thing that is working in our favor here, and is that in this one, we did not get to extreme greed, right? We got to a maximum of just under greed over here, 74. So there is one thing that you can say, look, maybe there was more altcoin open interest, less, but. We weren't at extreme greed. And so maybe that's the one saving grace that we actually have. Anyway, be that as it may, let's look at how long and how low and how Bitcoin can actually get to $90,000 under the assumption that this is a correction. And under the assumption that this is the September correction that we've actually been, that we didn't have. And now the September correction is coming late in September, which is something that can happen. What are the price points that can go? And how does Bitcoin maybe get to somewhere around $90,000? So here are the levels of defense. First of all, just bear in mind the last time that this happened, we had a 31 and 34% correction in Bitcoin. Bitcoin's all-time high, 124? What's 124, 125. Take it back 30%. That's minus 45, minus $36,000. Okay, that takes us into the 90s. We're not even talking about that yet. Let's talk about the bull market support bands, right? If we go to the bull market support bands, which are these two bands over here, we want to see Bitcoin stay above 109,000. Not impossible for Bitcoin to break below the bull market support bands. It's done this before in a bull market as well. So it doesn't mean just because it breaks down below the Bitcoin bull market support bands that it's a what is it called? A fait accompli. What do you call it? A fait accompli. That's how you say it, right? Like when you say like it's its fate. So you guys are uncultured. Yeah. Okay. So the first thing is, will we break down below the bull market support bands? That would be breaking down below 109,000. Under the assumption we break down below 109,000, next stop for me is the EMA 50 on the weekly. And that takes us down to 98. A fait accompli. You see, a mere actually a fait accompli. That's how, yeah. So that would take us, if we went on the weekly to the 50 week SMA, then we get to $98,000. remember that in between that, you've also got the psychological level of $100,000. So how do I see that? You see, people feel like it's an education here. They've learned a lot of things here today. They've learned about 𝗙𝗢𝗪 or what are they called? 𝗙𝗢𝗪, and now they're learning about a 𝗕𝗰𝗄𝗅. So we learn a lot of things here. It just is for educational purposes only. It's not financial advice. You know what I mean. Anyway, so there is the bull market support band at 110. Below the bull market support band, you have the 100,000 psychological level. Now, what I think is going to happen is we could break down below the bull market support band. Let's assume we break down below the bull market support band. Then we've got the 100,000 psychological level. So we break down below 109. We start breaking down. We go 8, 7, 6, 5. Then people go, wow, this Bitcoin thing can never break below 100, can never break below 100. And then it wicks below 100. And when it wicks below 100, that is when I think that the correction ends. Because I think when it gets to below 100, you've broken that psychological barrier. We wick below 98 to around 90. We're at 92.5. We have a CME gap. So one of the things that could happen, because remember, most CME gaps are closed. Doesn't need to be closed immediately. Can be closed at the end of the cycle. Can be closed in 2 years. But I'm just showing you the road of how possibly we could get into a situation where if this is the correction and it's not just a leverage flash out, we actually get to $90,000 in Bitcoin. So again, for those of you who are a bit slower in the educational front, number one, we break down below the bull market support band. That takes us to 109,000. Then we break down below to that 100 psychological level. Everyone shits their pants. When they shit their pants, we go below the EMA 50 SMA. Everyone goes, oh my God, we've broken down below everything. It's the end of the bull market. That takes us down to CME gap. And we actually turn around and we end up going back up. Let me just say this because I think it's very important, because I know 𝗕𝗰𝗪 is probably watching the show. Actually, let's phone 𝗕𝗰𝗪. We need to phone him because 𝗕𝗰𝗪, love 𝗕𝗰𝗪 to bits, but you know, sometimes he's like an old woman, bro. He panics like an old woman sometimes.
Yo, bro.
Bro, you're live on the show.
Yes, sir.
You said something like, why are you whispering, bro? You're trying to give me 𝗙𝗢𝗪𝗪. You're trying to give me 𝗙𝗢𝗪𝗪. What is it? Why are you whispering? Bro, 𝗙𝗢𝗪𝗪. You're trying to give me goosebumps. So what's going on here? Why are you whispering?
What is it?
He's not whispering.
No, wait. I'm just fuck. It's 9 o'clock and I'm a little bit like literally just sitting.
Oh, you're in Asia. He's in Asia. Okay, listen.
It's good. I'm just completely in a different thing now. I'm trying to get back in here. So what did you say? What show is that?
You're live on my show. You said something like, if we break below 105, it's the end of the bull market. Do you really think that, bro?
Oh, yes. Yeah, I do. No, so I think it's the total market cap. If the total market cap makes a low on the day, I think that's it.
The end of the bull market, that's it. Come back in 4 years.
No. I don't think, I don't believe in 4-year cycles no more. But yeah, I think alts are going to bleed like fucking crazy. I think Bitcoin is going to completely decouple, probably going to have a 30% pullback. And then we continue after May when JP is replaced and they start the proper kind of print.
Okay, I don't even want to think of that scenario. I don't even want, you should watch my show. It's a good show. You really should tune in, bro. Tune in. Anyway, we'll see you later, bro. Did you hear him in the beginning trying to whisper to me to try and give me 𝗙𝗢𝗪𝗪? It didn't work. Didn't get anything. No response. Needs to sharpen up his talk there. Let me say this categorically. I don't think it's the end of the bull market at all. At all. I also, by the way, just to show you that this is not a new thing for me, I actually took Sheldon a bet. This is the bet. You guys, you can watch it here. We were going to release it in a separate video, but I took him a bet quite a while ago, it was on my birthday. It was in August, because you can see the balloons in my office. So it was on my birthday. He came to visit.
You see a show yesterday. We're going lower. So I asked him now, I'm like, why are we going lower? I'm like, he says we're going to 100. I don't know.
105.
But why? What's your thesis?
Because we need a correction.
We've had a correction.
From 125 to
108. How much more you want to correct, bro? No.
What's the bet? What's the bet? What's the bet? A weekend. What's this bet? Amsterdam, Ibiza, give me the bet, because you're going to pay for me, I'm going to pay for you. We're going to go on a weekend together.
Oh, I like that.
Okay, so weekend in...
But you're only doing Amsterdam now.
So Ibiza, we'll have to pick...
Okay, Ibiza, definitely.
So wait, the winner picks the destination. Yes. And you have to execute within 3 months.
Okay, deal. Yeah.
Okay, so me and him took a bet. I said Bitcoin does go to below 100, 105, between 100 and 105 if by the end of October. If I'm right, he pays for me and him to go on a dirty weekend away somewhere. We'll go somewhere and go party it up somewhere, and the other way around as well. So let's see if we were actually right there. Let's also talk about how long this correction is going to last. Now, there's two options about how long this correction is going to last if we get into this into correction mode. Number one is we have a very quick market recovery, 32 days, 20 days. If you look at 2016 and 2017 and you look at the last part of the bull market, right? What you can see is that it took 32 days to recover to previous level, 20 days to recover to previous levels, 27 days, and 5 days to recover to previous levels. What you can see is that as you go and closer to the top of the cycle, so the recoveries get much, much, much quicker because the cycle starts moving much, much, much faster. Same thing happened in 2021 over here. You can see that the closer we got to the top of the cycle, the shorter the corrections actually become. So if we get a correction now, we can say, okay, well, maybe we're just going to get this V-shaped recovery. We don't want that V-shaped recovery, though. I'll tell you why we don't want that V-shaped recovery, right? Because if we get that V-shaped recovery, that means that the people that believe we're in a 4-year cycle, and if we have a fast recovery, that puts another point in their camp to say we actually might be close to the end of the cycle. If we get a very fast V-shaped recovery, that could be one of the signs that the cycle is actually coming to an end. Now, I don't know about you, but I'm not ready for the cycle to come to an end. Like, we've hardly had like a proper old season. My bags, I haven't made as much money as I thought we would make. Bitcoin, like ETH hasn't even like really broken its all-time high. Solana hasn't broken really its all-time high very much. So I'm not ready for the cycle to be over. I'm just like physically and mentally, I'm not prepared for the cycle to actually be over. If we get a longer correction, so this goes on for like much longer, 70 days, 90 days, you want to say longer correction. It goes down, it takes 90 days to come back to the same price that we're at today. Whilst it may not be such a fun ride right now, actually what that could mean is it strengthens the case for a much longer cycle, which is actually what I think is going to happen. I do think that this cycle is going to be much longer than all the other cycles. I don't think that the cycle ends within the next 6 weeks. If we get a very short correction, it could mean the cycle tops between the next 6 and 8 weeks. If it doesn't, we go into real vision world where, like Julian Bittel from Real Vision, he says most people overcomplicate the ideas of Bitcoin's traditional 4-year cycle can extend. It's simple. The business cycle extends, the crypto cycle extends. And here what he's alluding to is basically saying, look, we've just started the rate loosening cycle. It would be very, very, very weird if like we just started the loosening cycle and that's the end of the bull market. Also, like if you look at small caps in the stocks, which is quite an important data point, right? So if you look at the Russell 2000, the Russell 2000 literally for the first time in 4 years just hit its all-time high and literally just printed a cup and handle. Okay? That doesn't feel like the end of a cycle to me. And so I don't think it's the end of the cycle. I think there's a long way in the cycle. I kind of think like a year left of the cycle. One of the things that I actually want to confirm that is I want a longer correction. Longer correction, slower to recover, means longer cycle, means we're not in the aggressive part of the cycle, which also means the best is yet to come. The aggressive part of the cycle is yet to come, right? So that is basically what I wanted. But as I say, I do believe we're going to have a green Q4, although I did want to actually look at this. So Bitcoin still, because remember the whole theory around whether we're going to have like a crazy end of the year, blah, 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 we needed to have a green September. I mean, Bitcoin is like literally clawing onto a green September right now. Like if it goes down 4% from here, then no more green September. So we have to see what actually. Yeah, bro, that's Sunny. This guy on the screen. This guy, Sunny SA. You see this guy, Sunny SA? I met him on Saturday. Yeah, I went to play paddle with my kid, and he was there with his family eating pizza. His son watches me also.
Cool.
Yeah, it's a young guy, son. I saw him at the paddle courts. By the way, let me know how many of you, do a poll, how many people here actually play paddle. I want to know. Sonny was I don't think he was actually playing paddle. I think he was just dressed in a tennis outfit there eating pizza. I mean, bro, you come to the paddle court to play paddle. But yeah, he came there with his family. Good guy. Very, very, very cool guy. Cool. So not the end of the cycle. I think it's going to be a longer cycle. I'm sticking to my thesis here, even though, I'm sticking to my thesis. I think the only thing we need to find out now, is this the beginning of the correction or is this just a flash out? The next 2 days will tell us. The next 2 days will actually tell us. It's not, it's P-A-D-E-L. It's not, it's paddle. It's not paddle. Paddle is what you do with a boat. Right. Okay, well, okay. Yeah. Okay. Let's talk a little bit more about this weekend, because this weekend was absolutely fucking crazy. This launch of this Aster made so many millionaires. What a crazy, crazy weekend. You know, like, it was really one of the most enjoyable weekends that we've had in crypto for a long, long, long time, because we had the launch of a token which made a lot of people rich. It was like, it's crazy. It's so nice to see when a token comes out and then like just person after person after person makes money out of it. So I'm going to tell you a very funny story. So we have this thing called the Banter newsroom, right? And the Banter newsroom is like, I think there's 52 contributors in the Banter newsroom. And every contributor has to contribute at least 10 posts a week in the newsroom of alpha, right? And if you don't, then I've got the job of basically removing the people that don't post. So we get like, there's a system that reads how many posts each person posts. And then like on Monday morning, we get like a printout that says like, Rand posted 50 times, Warren posted 10 times, Hardest posted 5 times. And if you post under 10, you basically get removed from the thing. So there's one researcher in here. I said to him, I said, okay, guys, I said, look, I got the printout. I said, guys, today we bid farewell. And I put the names here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 names. I said, thank you, legends, for your contribution to the group. And then like all of them were like, no, please don't remove me. I was traveling. And the one guy says, the one guy, like other guys like arguing, no, you counted wrong. And the one guy says, all good, sir. Been a pleasure. Cooked generationally on Aster. Been a pleasure to be in this game. And he's basically retired from crypto. Imagine on this weekend, Aster made so many, and he actually left the group. He was like, okay, I'll buy out, I've retired. So we had the launch of Aster. Aster made lots of people a lot of money, which was amazing, amazing, amazing to see. It kind of brought back a lot of life into crypto. It also brought 𝗙𝗍 back into the mix, right? Because for those of you who don't know what Aster is a perpetuals exchange, very similar to Hyperliquid. Remember, Hyperliquid's been losing a lot of market share to Binance, and the centralized exchanges need a decentralized exchange answer to Hyperliquid, right? And there was speculation that this one is actually linked to 𝗙𝗍. The reason why this one is actually linked to 𝗙𝗍 is because 𝗙𝗍 never ever tweets about any project, and there were rumors, and then 𝗙𝗍 actually tweeted the chart of the Aster DEX. And I think by now it's become pretty common. Everyone knows that 𝗙𝗍 is behind this in one way or another. It also doesn't really, I mean, like if you listen to this interview with him, I've just got to try and find this interview with him. He says, look, people asked him, what are you going to be doing now? And he said, look, I'm going to be investing in Binance competitors. Listen.
I think I've said this many times. In the future, DEX is going to be bigger than CEX. And we want to invest heavily in those areas. Yeah, we want to invest in the things that will disrupt our business.
How are you? Are you already
see?
In the process of doing that?
Oh yeah. We
so
invested
everyone
in
thinks that this is the DEX, that this is Binance's answer to Hyperliquid. It's called Aster. As I said, it's a perpetuals exchange. The big difference between this and the normal perpetuals exchange or Hyperliquid is that this one has what they call stealth trading or dark trading, which basically means that you don't show your orders to others. Now remember, with Hyperliquid, one of the reasons why a lot of the whales like James Wynn and them were liquidated is because it's on chain. All the orders are on chain, and so you can see when people are long and you can see when people are short. This one actually hides that, and so you can do stealth orders and a whole lot of other things in this DEX, and that's the reason. Now, this came onto the market. It flew. I think the all-time high was $2, which is quite a big number. I think it's just under 20 billion fully diluted on the first weekend. Currently quite resilient, trading at about $1.50 when the whole market's actually come down. Made a lot of people rich. The other thing that it actually did was it bought 𝗙𝗍 back. And I mean, there was a lot of hype. Mr. Beast actually seems to have bought the top. 𝗙𝗍 actually bought publicly as well. So it was big. it also reignited a couple of seasons. The first season is, you can see BNB is still over $1,000, which is like, that's the other thing that the launch of Aster actually did it. It brought back CZ season, Binance season, BNB season, you know what I mean? And so now, what also happened on the weekend, by the way, and we called this so perfectly, is people started to look for other things where CZ was invested. And so I went into Frontrunners and I said, guys, I'm not investing in many things right now. There are two things that I invested in. I said one was black hole DEX. We'll talk about that another time. But I said, look, the other one that I'm investing in is HEMI. The reason why I said I'm investing in HEMI is because HEMI is a Bitcoin L2 that CZ actually invested. I know this for a fact. And actually, by the way, you can see it here. If you look at CryptoRank, Binance Lab, or YZI as they call themselves right now, they invested in HEMI. And the reason why I was so comfortable to actually post it in Frontrunners and actually finally take a position in it myself is because I said, hold on a second. Number one, for a Bitcoin L2, it's very cheap. And it's back to being cheap, or getting back to being cheap now. We called this on Frontrunners at 57 cents. It went up to $1.20. So you would have doubled your money. If you were in Frontrunners and you took that trade, you would have doubled your money if you hadn't taken any leverage on this weekend. And by the way, I'm still very confident around HEMI, because when it comes to a Bitcoin L2, HEMI is probably one of the cheapest quality projects out there. Oh, and by the way, it's also invested in by CZ and that kind of like, or Binance Labs. Yeah. In fact, so I called this in Frontrunners. The Frontrunners people actually landed up doubling their money, or had the opportunity to double their money. This weekend for Frontrunners must have been like pretty much, I would say this was like our best weekend. I think even people in Frontrunners, I want to show you something quickly. I want to show you a couple of other calls that actually happened. Hold on a second. Here we go. So someone says, here we go. Run needs to make a POW style tweet. This week he's paying a lot of subscriptions. It's like, it was crazy. So we called that one. Then we called Aster originally. Yeah, you can actually see it over here. We called Aster at 7 cents. Yeah, there it is. There's the post in Frontrunners. 7 cents. You would have made 25 times your money if you followed that post. By the way, I bought it when I saw that post inside Frontrunners. I bought it. Then, as if that wasn't enough, we smashed another one out the park yesterday. Massive one. I said yesterday, hey guys, hey everyone, I bought a bit of this thing called Merlin chain, right? So I got some information around Merlin chain. So I posted this thing around Merlin chain. And then Merlin chain also exploded yesterday. I don't know what it's doing now with this pullback, but I do think that there's probably a good one to get into. The type of stuff that I'm hearing is really big stuff. Oh, you see, it's even up today. So you see, Frontrunners got a hat trick. Aster at 7 cents. HEMI at 57 cents. Merlin yesterday, it came in on the Irishman's channel at slightly under. I bought it at 0.27. Guys, I cannot beg you enough to get into Frontrunners. There is a link over here. Just get into it. Just it costs you it'll cost you $199 if you don't want, you can get a refund. If you're not happy after 30 days, mail me, I'll give you a refund. I promise. But do it. 3 killer calls this weekend. You would have paid your subscription 1,000 times. Please, there is a link over here. Sign up with this link. It is so easy. Do it. If you don't like it, if it's not the most profitable decision that you've made in this cycle, you get your money back. No problem. Yeah, so it ignited the CZ season. And I really wish there hadn't been a correction, because then we could have just played this CZ season. For now, we're just going to wait and see. Let's just see, is this a leverage flash or is this a correction? If it's a correction, we know what we're looking for. We want a longer correction that's less steep. We know what the entry points and the exit points are. We know that Bitcoin could go and wick just below $100,000. And if it happens, we're pretty much ready for it because we've actually seen the data. Makes sense. Does it make sense to join Frontrunners finally? I know you've been sitting on the fence, hardest. Just get off the fence, bro. Pick a side. I mean, could you not, is there any chance that you could have not made $199 by those 3 calls? Aster at 7 cents, HEMI at 57 cents, and Merlin chain, which is, by the way, still going up. Any chance?
If you're sleeping.
If you're sleeping, yeah. If you don't, yeah. If you join the Frontrunners, but you don't have a computer and you don't have a phone, so you can't look at it. Yeah. How many people here play paddle?
We have, let me just open this thing up. We have got 16% that play, 84 say no. 34%.
84% don't play paddle. What do you guys do? Guys, do you want an airdrop? Do you feel like another airdrop, like a good airdrop? There's a derivatives exchange called 𝗙𝗫𝗫. It's by the founders of CoinW, right? They have a perpetuals exchange. Another one of these Asters. It's exactly like Aster. Another one of these Asters or whatever else. They are going to be doing a big airdrop between now and the end of the year. Massive airdrop. All the details of how to get the airdrop are over here. This is another one of those decentralized exchanges. You get points. If you invite a friend, you get more points. Everything, all the details are here in this reward center. Go to this link and go and check it out. I'm not asking you to invest, to buy. Just go, because if you do, then you'll just get a free airdrop for actually using the exchange. And it could be big, like the Aster airdrop that's apparently going to come, or the Hyperliquid airdrop or whatever else. Lastly, before we go, chaps, remember Token 2049 happens in 8 days, 9 hours, 44 minutes, and 53 seconds. 1st and 2nd of October. And then if you are part of Frontrunners, you coming to our event. We got an event. We got on the 2nd of October, just after Token 2049, 8 o'clock at night, we go to the Lantern and we party. We're going to have a massive party. Frontrunners, you guys, there's going to be an invitation dropped into Frontrunners. Please come. Lots of big people coming to our party in Singapore. It's the best. It usually is the best party in Singapore. Yeah. Or at Token 2049, or at any conference, actually. All right, good people. Let's quickly just check the markets. 113 on Bitcoin, 4,200 on ETH, and just red bubbles everywhere. Doesn't worry me. See you guys again tomorrow. Until then, trade well, my friends.